I'm Dr. Brian Sather, and today's topic is gender equity in sport. So a lot of times people's argument, if we're looking at the question of should men and women be separated in sports, should gender be the determining factor, and with the popularity, I guess, of challenges from transgender athletes, it's caused people to question just how we classify society more generally, but how we classify sport. So one of the arguments is, well, we need to separate sport by gender because it wouldn't be fair. The men would dominate the women. Is that really true? And I suppose I should lead with the caveat. I said coyote's been on this trail. Lead with the caveat or disclaimer that nothing I share is my own opinion. It is that's partially the name for this channel, the reason everything I say is BS, so keep that in mind. So I'll share arguments, but none of it's my own opinion. It's just for educational purposes and food for thought discussion. So it's kind of a rocky section of trail. Getting up here in the mountains now. That's a nice cliff there. Ran into a waterfall I didn't know existed down there too. It's been a while since I've been on this trail. Anyway, off topic, or maybe on topic, because if you take a sport like this, hiking, all of a sudden the differences between men and women are drastically decreased as far as performance goes. It's the issue we run into generally more inequity in competition is our popular sports, probably because our popular sports highlight upper body strength and power, and speed. So if the sports highlight those attributes, generally women have a tough time keeping up with men. But that said, if you take the top women in any sport, like let's say WNBA, they are powerful, tall, fast, and probably my estimates are they're better than 99 point something percent men playing basketball. So that shows you right there that if my claim is true, that really there isn't much difference for men and women. But obviously at the top levels, when you start separating things out, it's going to be tough for any female to compete with LeBron James. But also realize that females have been, oh sweet, females excuse me, females have been really competitive for a short amount of time in history compared to men, largely because of opportunity and various other factors. So over time, look at the leap of how good WNBA players are now compared to how they were even 10 years ago. Way better. We have women dunking. We have, it's a different style of game. If we did something like raise the hoop up a couple more feet or something, or maybe even lowered it, would that equalize the playing field? Because if just height is the issue. Anyway, my point is the top sports like baseball, basketball, football, they all highlight the attributes of males. So one exception would be NASCAR racing, or any car racing for that matter. That's one of the most popular sports in the world. And there's relatively no argument that says women can't compete as well, or as Al Unser Jr. argued a few years back, Danica Patrick has a unfair advantage because she's so light. So maybe women, there's a waterfall down there, well, cascade at least. Maybe the issue is we've just created sports that are too male oriented. So if we have NASCAR aside, if we took sports like endurance sports, like ultra endurance running, like some of the top endurance records like this, trail running, although I'm not running right now, but have been dominated at times by females. Some of the speed records on the Appalachian Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, females are the ones vying for that. So maybe maybe if we had sport like triathlon, for example, Ironman triathlon, the top female beats almost all the male competitors. It seems like they're usually like in the top 20 or 30 overall, with no handicapping whatsoever. So sweet. Look at this. Look at this section of trail here. So that's some food for thought, that maybe women are not disadvantaged. It's just we need to spend a little more time and maybe start having integrated sport, and not really based on gender, just based on more skill level. And in the end, we have we'll have fair competition, and we don't discriminate, because it's actually discriminatory to say a male and a female based on some anatomical part randomly is qualified to compete against another. So thoughts on that? Class dismissed.